I want to walk into a journey of transformation right now in this very moment. There is a version of you that you haven't met yet. More powerful, more focused, more unstoppable. But here's the truth. You will never meet that person if you continue to live with the same thoughts, the same habits, and the same mindset that have been holding you back. The next 7 days will challenge everything you believe about yourself. It will test your limits and demand that you step into a new reality. But let me ask you this. What would your life look like if you could finally master your mind? What would be possible for you if you had complete control over your thoughts, emotions, and actions every single day? Imagine waking up with a sense of purpose, energy, and power. Imagine feeling in control, not just of your day, but of your destiny. This is not some motivational fluff. This is a powerful, actionable system to shift the way you think, feel, and perform every single day. This is about building new habits, new ways of thinking, new ways of being. So, are you ready to step into your highest potential? Are you ready to break free from the chains of doubt and fear? Today, we start the journey to master your mind. And by the end of this 7-day process, you'll be equipped to create a future that you once only dreamed of. Stay with me, because every step of this journey will move you closer to the best version of yourself. You're about to discover something far more powerful than you ever thought possible, and it all starts right now. You know, how you start your day can often determine the trajectory of your life. I want you to think about that for a moment. Your morning is like a foundation. Everything you build on top of it is shaped by what you lay down first. When you wake up, it's the first chance you get to take control. Most people don't realize this, but they're unconsciously allowing the world to dictate how they feel before they even step out of bed. They hit snooze, drag themselves out, and let the chaos of the world start shaping their mood. But not you, not anymore. Imagine waking up every single day with purpose. Imagine waking up and choosing to start your day on your terms. I'm not talking about some rushed, mindless routine. I'm talking about creating a moment of power, a moment where you get to prime yourself for the day ahead. And you can do this in the first few minutes of your morning. The first thing you do when you wake up can either be a force for good or a source of stress. When you roll out of bed and check your phone, your brain is immediately flooded with information that can take you in any direction. Emails, news, social media, these things come at you like a tidal wave, setting your emotional state before you've even had a chance to take a breath. And when you let that happen, your day starts to slip through your fingers. You're on the defensive, constantly reacting to things outside of your control. But here's the breakthrough. You have the ability to decide right from the start what you want your morning and ultimately your day to look like. Imagine if the moment you opened your eyes, you immediately began to prime your mind for success. Imagine making the first moments of your day the most powerful, productive, and positive moments. One of the easiest and most impactful ways to do this is with a simple practice I call priming. Priming is a ritual that sets your mind, body, and emotions in the right direction. When you prime, you consciously choose your emotional state, you flood your mind with gratitude, and you set your intentions for the day. It's about taking charge of your internal world before you even leave your bed. Start with just a few deep breaths. Feel the air fill your lungs and center yourself in the present moment. Then think of something you're deeply grateful for. It could be something simple, like the bed you're lying in, the air you're breathing, or the people you love. Gratitude is a powerful way to elevate your emotional state. It shifts you from a place of lack to a place of abundance, from stress to peace. Next, set your intention. Ask yourself, what is the most important thing I want to accomplish today? Who do I need to be in order to make this day extraordinary? By setting an intention, you are signaling to your brain exactly what to focus on. You're giving yourself a blueprint for the day. And here's the thing. Your mind will follow where you lead it. When you consciously direct your focus on the things that matter most to you, you create a roadmap that your actions will follow. But it's not just about thoughts or intentions. It's about taking action right away. Your body is deeply connected to your mind, and when you move, you send a powerful signal to your brain that you are in control. So get up, stretch, move around, or do something physical to shake off any remnants of sleep. This activates your energy and reinforces the mental clarity you've just created. This kind of ritual doesn't take long. It doesn't have to be an hour long. Routine. It's just a few minutes, but in those minutes, you take control. You declare through your thoughts, your actions, and your state that you are in charge of your day, that you are the creator of your destiny. Now, I get it. Some of you might be thinking, but I don't have time for this. I'm too busy. I'm too tired. I have too much to do. But here's what I'm telling you. This is the most important thing you can do. You are telling your brain, your body, and the universe that you're ready for whatever comes your way. You're telling yourself that no matter how chaotic the day ahead may be, you will approach it with a sense of purpose and control. You don't let the world dictate your mood. You choose your mood, and your actions follow. When you take control of your morning, you change the entire rhythm of your day. You shift from being a passenger in your life to the driver. You are no longer reacting to what happens to you. You are responding with intention and power. And when you do this consistently, your life begins to change in ways you couldn't have imagined. The best part? It's not hard. You don't need a complicated strategy or a list of complex actions. You just need a few minutes to set yourself up for success. Because when you own your morning, you own your mind. And when you own your mind, you own your life. So let's start today. Right now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Your mind is your most powerful tool. Take control of it, and you will change everything. Let's master your mind together. Every single person in this room is carrying patterns in their life, thoughts, beliefs, and habits that have been built over years, even decades. And here's the thing. Most of these patterns are not serving you. In fact, they're holding you back, keeping you trapped in the same cycle of mediocrity, fear, and self-doubt. If you want to break through to the next level of your life, if you want to experience true freedom, you need to start by breaking these patterns. Let me ask you, what are the automatic thoughts that run through your mind every day? What's the story you tell yourself about who you are and what's possible for you? See, these thoughts aren't just random. They are deeply ingrained patterns that shape your reality. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, or I'll never succeed, or this is just the way it's always been, then you're living inside a prison of your own making. These patterns are not the truth. They're just old scripts, old stories that you've accepted as fact. But you don't have to accept them. You don't have to let these old beliefs keep running your life. The moment you decide to break those patterns is the moment you take back control. And here's how you can do it. You must interrupt those patterns. You've got to create a disruption in your mind, a shift in your thinking that breaks the cycle of negativity and limitation. One of the most powerful tools you have to break your patterns is awareness. The first step in changing anything in your life is realizing that you have a choice. Most of us are living on autopilot, reacting to life's challenges without ever questioning the mental scripts we're running. But awareness changes everything. When you start to notice those negative thoughts, those self-limiting beliefs, you take the power away from them. You stop being at the mercy of those unconscious patterns, but awareness alone isn't enough. You have to interrupt those patterns. And I'm talking about a pattern interrupt. A sudden change in behavior, thought, or even physical movement that shakes up your usual mental rhythm. Imagine that your brain is a computer and it's running the same program over and over again. A pattern interrupt is like hitting the reset button. It's like when your phone freezes and you have to restart it to get it working properly again. That's what you need to do with your mind. Interrupt the old limiting patterns and replace them with something new. You can do this in small, simple ways. Let's say you've been feeling overwhelmed by a situation in your life. You've been thinking about it over and over again, and it's creating stress, anxiety, and frustration. What if, instead of continuing down that path, you interrupted the pattern by physically doing something completely different? Stand up, move around, take a deep breath, and shout out loud, "I am in control." It may feel strange at first, but trust me, your brain will register that disruption. It will start to create new connections, new pathways, new ways of thinking. And the more you interrupt these old patterns, the more you create space for new ones to emerge. This is where you get to take the reins of your life. You are no longer a victim to the stories you've told yourself. You are the author of your own story, and every day is an opportunity to write a new chapter. It's about saying, I refuse to be defined by the past. I refuse to let these old beliefs dictate my future. And when you take that stand, everything begins to shift. Now, I want to talk about something that's key to breaking these patterns, new experiences. You can't change your life if you keep doing the same things over and over again. If you want to change your thoughts, your actions must change too. This is where most people get stuck. They try to think their way into change without changing their behavior. But the truth is, the fastest way to change your mindset is to change your environment and your actions. Take risks, step outside of your comfort zone, do things that scare you, things that challenge you. When you push yourself to take bold new actions, you create new neural pathways in your brain. And with those new pathways comes a new sense of self, a new identity. You stop identifying with the person who is stuck in old patterns and start embracing the person who is free, empowered, and capable of achieving greatness. This is not about perfection. It's about progression. It's about making the decision to take one small step every day toward breaking free from the limitations that have held you back. You don't have to change everything at once. Just start by interrupting one small pattern today. It could be something as simple as changing the way you talk to yourself, or it could be doing something new and bold that pushes you out of your comfort zone. You are capable of breaking free from any pattern that no longer serves you. All it takes is awareness, a willingness to disrupt your old way of thinking, and the courage to take new action. This is your opportunity to redefine who you are and what's possible for you. So don't let those old patterns keep running the show. Interrupt them, rewire your mind, and step into the version of yourself that you were always meant to be. You've heard the saying, where focus goes, energy flows. It's simple, but it's one of the most powerful truths you will ever come to understand. Think about this. Every moment of every day, your mind is constantly pulling your attention in different directions. From the moment you wake up, there's a flood of things competing for your focus. The moment you pick up your phone, you're bombarded with notifications, emails, social media updates, each one demanding your attention, pulling you further and further from the things that truly matter. And here's the thing, whatever you focus on, you magnify. Whatever you focus on, you give energy to. And whatever you give energy to, you begin to attract more of into your life. But here's the breakthrough. You have the power to control where your focus goes. You can decide right here, right now, what gets your attention. And when you start to harness the power of focus, something magical happens. You stop feeling overwhelmed, scattered, and disconnected. You start feeling more centered, more confident, and more aligned with your goals. I want you to think about a time in your life when you were in the zone. Maybe it was a moment when you were working on something you were passionate about, or when you were fully immersed in an activity that brought you joy in that moment. You weren't worried about the past or the future. You weren't distracted by what other people thought or what was happening around you. You were present. You were focused. And in that moment, you likely felt unstoppable. This is the power of focus. When you focus on what truly matters, when you focus on your goals, your growth, and your vision for the future, you unlock an energy within yourself that you didn't even know was there. You stop wasting energy on distractions, on things that don't serve you, and you start directing that energy toward your highest potential. But let me ask you, what are you currently focusing on? What is dominating your thoughts and your attention right now? Are you focused on your fears, your doubts, and your limitations? Are you allowing the distractions of life to pull you away from what you really want? Or are you focused on the possibility, the opportunity, the massive potential that lies in front of you? The truth is, most people are focused on the wrong things. They focus on what they don't want, the things that scare them, the things that have held them back in the past. And when you focus on fear, you attract more fear. When you focus on scarcity, you create more scarcity. When you focus on problems, you magnify those problems. The universe doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you don't want. It just gives you more of whatever you focus on. So what if you could flip that around? What if, instead of focusing on the challenges, you focused on the solutions? Instead of focusing on what you don't have, you focused on what you can create. Instead of focusing on how far you still have to go, you focused on how far you've already come. It's a simple shift, but it's one that can change everything. When you shift your focus to what you do want, you begin to harness the energy that will move you forward. You stop feeding the distractions and start feeding the things that bring you closer to your goals. And when you do that, the momentum you create is unstoppable. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, it's not that easy. I have so many things pulling at me. I can't just ignore everything else. And I get it. Life can be overwhelming. But the truth is, you don't have to focus on everything. You only need to focus on the one thing that will move you closer to your desired future. If you focus on the most important task at hand, whether it's a project, a relationship, or a personal goal, you begin to see results. You start creating the outcomes you want instead of reacting to the noise around you. This is where discipline comes in. Focus isn't about being perfect or always being in a state of intense concentration. It's about being intentional with your attention. It's about making conscious decisions every day to direct your energy toward what truly matters. This means saying no to the things that drain you, the things that don't serve your bigger vision. It means prioritizing your time, your energy, and your efforts so that you can make meaningful progress toward your goals. But the key is to make your focus habitual. This isn't something you do once and expect immediate results. Focus, like anything else, is a muscle that you have to train. The more you practice focusing on what matters, the easier it becomes. And as your focus sharpens, your ability to create the life you desire becomes clearer and more achievable. You become like a laser beam, cutting through the distractions and zeroing in on your target. So, today, right now, I challenge you to take control of your focus. Take a moment to ask yourself, where is my attention right now? What am I choosing to focus on? And then decide to shift your focus, to focus on the possibilities, the opportunities, and the solutions that will lead you to your desired future. When you do this, you take back your power, you take back control of your life, and you begin to create the future that you deserve. Focus is your most powerful tool. So let's use it. Let's focus on what matters most. And let's make today the day everything begins to change. You've heard people talk about being in a good state, right? But let me ask you, do you really understand what it means to be in a powerful state? Your state is your energy, your emotion, your physiology, everything that defines how you show up in the world. And I'm telling you right now, you are in control of it. Your state isn't something that happens to you. It's something that you can intentionally create at any given moment. Think about it. How often do you let your environment control your state? Maybe you wake up late, feel rushed, and immediately feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. Maybe you check your phone and instantly start feeling stressed because of an email, a message, or a social media post. The world is constantly pulling at you, demanding your attention and trying to shift your emotional state. But here's the truth. You don't have to let the world control your state. You get to decide every single day how you want to show up. When you're in a powerful state, nothing can stop you. When you're in the right state, you can take on any challenge, overcome any obstacle, and achieve what others might think is impossible. But when you're in a weak state, when you're tired, frustrated, or distracted, everything becomes harder. Even the smallest tasks feel like mountains. This is the power of state. It determines how you approach everything in your life. The good news is you don't need to wait for something external to shift in order to change your state. You have the power to shift your energy, your emotion, and your focus at any moment. And that starts with how you use your body. See, your body and your mind are connected. When you change your physiology, you immediately change your emotional state. Try this for a moment. Sit slumped over with your shoulders hunched, your head down, and take a deep breath. Notice how you feel. Do you feel confident, energized, and ready to take on the world? Probably not. Now sit up straight. Roll your shoulders back. Take a deep, powerful breath. Open your chest. How do you feel now? More confident, right? More empowered. That's the power of your body. It's incredible. When you shift your posture, you send a message to your brain that you are in control. You are strong. You are capable. The way you carry yourself can change your emotional state in an instant. This isn't just about feeling good in the moment. It's about creating a foundation for peak performance. And when you're in a peak state, you'll have more energy, more focus, and more drive to tackle whatever comes your way. Now, let's talk about emotions for a second. Your emotions are one of the strongest forces you have, but too often we let our emotions dictate how we show up. When we're in a negative emotional state, we become reactive. We let our feelings of frustration, fear, or overwhelm take over, and those emotions run the show. But what if you could master your emotions? What if you could decide in any given moment to shift from fear to courage, from frustration to calm, from doubt to certainty? This is the power of emotional mastery. When you learn to control your emotional state, you no longer have to be a slave to your feelings. You become the master of your emotions, using them as fuel for your success. And it's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about recognizing that you have the ability to choose your emotional response no matter the situation. One of the quickest ways to elevate your emotional state is through what I call triggering your power. This means using a physical or emotional trigger to shift your mindset instantly. It could be something as simple as listening to a song that pumps you up, watching a video that inspires you, or even recalling a moment of personal triumph. These triggers help you shift into a state of power where you feel unstoppable and ready to take on anything. You can also use visualization to change your state. Close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself succeeding in whatever it is you want to achieve. Picture yourself in the moment feeling the emotions of success, whether that's the pride of a job well done, the excitement of hitting a milestone, or the joy of living your dream. As you imagine it, your brain begins to feel as though it's real. Your body will release the same chemicals as if you were actually experiencing that success in the present moment. That's how powerful your mind is. And the more you practice shifting your state in this way, the easier it becomes to do on demand. But there's one more piece. to this puzzle. You're breathing. Your breath is one of the most powerful tools you have to control your state. When you're anxious or stressed, your breathing becomes shallow and fast. But when you're calm and focused, your breathing slows down and deepens. So when you feel yourself slipping into a negative state, use your breath to center yourself. Take long, deep breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. As you breathe, feel your body relax, your mind clear, and your energy begin to shift. The beauty of mastering your state is that it's not about waiting for the world to change. It's about you taking control of how you feel, how you think, and how you act. You decide how you show up every single day. You decide if you're going to bring energy, power, and confidence to every situation, or if you're going to let life pull you down. So today, make the decision to take control of your state. Whether you need to change your posture, trigger your power, or simply breathe deeply, do whatever it takes to elevate your energy and emotions. When you do this, you will move through the world with a new level of strength, clarity, and purpose. And the results you achieve will reflect that power. I want to talk about something that has the power to completely transform your life, and that's the power of your beliefs. Your beliefs are like the glasses through which you view the world. They shape everything you think, everything you do, and every outcome you experience. They dictate what you think is possible and what you think is impossible. And here's the kicker. Most of the time, we don't even realize we're walking around with these beliefs, shaping our reality without even being conscious of it. So if we're not aware of them, how can we change them? How can we take control of our lives if we don't first take control of our beliefs? The first thing I want you to understand is that your beliefs are not facts. I'm going to say that again because it's so crucial. Your beliefs are not facts. They are just stories you've told yourself over time, usually based on past experiences or things you were told when you were younger. These beliefs are not the truth. They're just your truth, shaped by your past, by your environment, and by everything you've been exposed to up until now. But here's the key. Just because you've believed something for a long time doesn't make it true. Just because you've always thought that you weren't good enough or that success was out of your reach doesn't mean it has to stay that way. You have the power to rewrite your beliefs, to change the story you've been telling yourself for so long. Now take a moment and ask yourself, what do I truly believe about myself? What do you believe about your ability to succeed, to achieve your goals, to make a lasting impact? Do you believe that you are worthy of success? Do you believe that you have the power to change your circumstances? If the answer is no, or I'm not sure, then we've got some work to do. Because the beliefs you hold about yourself are either empowering you or limiting you. Here's the truth. What you believe about yourself will shape your actions, and your actions will ultimately determine your results. Think about it. If you believe you can't do something, you won't even try, right? If you believe that the world is against you, you'll look for evidence that reinforces that belief. But if you believe that you are capable, that you are worthy of the best life has to offer, that you are in control of your destiny, then you start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You take action, you move forward no matter how challenging things get. So how do we change our beliefs? It starts with awareness. You have to first identify the beliefs that are holding you back. You need to become aware of the stories you've been telling yourself, the ones that are keeping you stuck. Are you telling yourself that you're not good enough? That you'll never succeed because you don't have the right background or the right education? That you don't have what it takes to achieve greatness? These are all beliefs. They are all stories. And once you identify them, you can begin to rewrite them. The next step is to challenge those beliefs. Ask yourself, is this belief serving me? Is it helping me get closer to the life I want? Is it empowering me to take action? And if the answer is no, then it's time to replace it. Replace it with a new belief, one that empowers you, one that excites you, one that opens up possibilities. If you've always believed that you're not good enough, replace that belief with one that says, I am more than enough. I am capable of achieving anything I set my mind to. If you've believed that success is reserved for others, replace it with the belief, I am worthy of success and I am going to create my own opportunities. But it's not enough just to think new beliefs. You have to live them. You have to take action that reinforces your new beliefs. The more you take action, the more your new beliefs will become your reality. And as you take more and more action, those new beliefs will become your truth. The more you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are worthy, that you are in control, the more you'll begin to see the world differently. You'll begin to see challenges as opportunities. You'll begin to see setbacks as stepping stones. You'll stop holding yourself back because you'll know deep down that you are capable of overcoming anything that comes your way. Changing your beliefs is a process that doesn't happen overnight, but I promise you, when you commit to changing the beliefs that no longer serve you, your life will begin to shift in ways you can't even imagine. You will begin to experience more confidence, more success, and more fulfillment than you ever thought possible. The key is to remember that you are the creator of your own beliefs. You don't have to accept anything as your truth if it doesn't serve you. If you want a different life, if you want to achieve something extraordinary, then start by changing what you believe is possible. The moment you do that, everything else will fall into place. Your beliefs shape your reality. So let's make sure you're believing in the right things. One of the most powerful actions you can take in your life is to start taking massive, determined action. The truth is, knowledge alone doesn't create change. It's not enough to simply learn something, to read a book, or to watch a motivational video. Knowledge is valuable, but if you don't act on it, nothing will change. And that's the difference between people who talk about their dreams and those who actually live them. It's the difference between people who are constantly planning and those who are taking massive action, making things happen every single day. Here's the reality. When you take massive action, you're telling the universe, I am serious. I am committed. I will not stop until I achieve my goal. Action is what bridges the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. It's the catalyst that turns ideas into results. And I don't care how big your dream is, if you don't take action, nothing will move forward. The world doesn't reward intention. It rewards execution. Now I want you to really think about that word, massive. When we talk about massive action, we're not talking about baby steps. We're not talking about half-hearted efforts or waiting for the perfect time. We're talking about going all in. We're talking about putting in everything you've got, making moves every day, and doing whatever it takes to achieve your goals. You can't expect extraordinary results by doing things the way everyone else does them. If you want different results, you've got to do things differently. You've got to take action that most people aren't willing to take. But I know that sometimes the hardest part is just getting started. You might be sitting there thinking, I don't know where to begin, or I don't know how to take that first step. Let me tell you this. You don't need to know everything before you start. You don't have to have all the answers. In fact, the answers will come as you move forward. The key is to take that first step, any step toward your goal. You don't need to see the whole staircase, just the next step. Once you take it, you'll gain the momentum you need to take the next one and the next one. Action creates momentum. And when you have momentum on your side, there's nothing that can stop you. But I also want to address something that might be holding you back right now. Fear. Fear is natural. It's a part of being human. But let me ask you, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of failure? What if I told you that failure is not something to be feared? In fact, failure is a necessary part of the process. Every successful person has failed countless times. Failure isn't something to avoid, it's something to embrace. It's simply feedback. When you fail, you learn, you grow, you refine your approach. And the next time you take action, you do it with more knowledge, more experience, and more confidence. So rather than fearing failure, reframe it. See it for what it really is, a stepping stone on the path to success. Every time you fail, you're getting closer to your goal. Every time you take a misstep, you're gaining insight that will help you take better action next time. Remember, massive action doesn't mean being perfect. It means being relentless. It means showing up every day, taking consistent steps, and refusing to quit. Another thing that often holds people back is perfectionism. We all know someone who spends so much time planning, so much time thinking about every detail that they never actually take action. They get caught up in making everything perfect before they move forward. But here's the truth. Perfectionism is just another form of procrastination. Waiting for the perfect conditions, the perfect moment, or the perfect plan will only keep you stuck. There will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a right time. The only time that matters is now. The only thing that matters is taking action right now with whatever you've got, wherever you are. When you take massive action, you break free from the trap of overthinking and waiting for everything to align. You create your own momentum. You make things happen, even if the path isn't perfectly clear. The more action you take, the more clarity you'll gain. You don't need to see the entire path laid out in front of you. Start walking, and the path will begin to unfold as you go. Let's not forget that massive action also means consistency. It's not about one big burst of energy followed by weeks of inaction. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when the results aren't immediate. When you keep taking action, even when it feels like nothing is changing, that's when the magic happens. Consistency builds trust with yourself, it builds confidence, and it shows the world that you are committed to your success. So if you're feeling stuck or unsure of what to do next, here's my challenge to you. Take massive action today. Don't wait for the right time. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Just start. Pick one thing that you can do right now, no matter how small, that moves you closer to your goal. And then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. Keep taking action. Keep building momentum. And watch how everything starts to shift in your favor. Massive action is the key to unlocking your potential, to creating the life you've always dreamed of. So let's stop talking about it and start doing it. The time to act is now.